we started with our live stream with our full worship, and we kind of done that. What we're doing now is we're actually downloaded a bunch of our past worship songs and services, and we're just going to edit those onto the front of a new message, which that message could be recorded at the church, or it could be recorded. For now, we're going to do it at the church until we're not allowed to do that anymore, and we'll do that at home if we need to. And I'll give you guys a few ideas on where and how you can go about editing those videos. There's literally apps that you can use on your phone or on your computer, which is fairly easy to use. There's some very complicated ones, but there's some easy ones out there. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's kind of, yeah, so that's where we're at. I use iMovie, which is on Mac, and it's just, you have your video and you just drag it in and crop it where you want it to go. So that's what we're kind of using right now. It's the easiest, and the beauty of it now is we're going to look like such polished preachers, because I could literally, if I mess up on a part, I'll put my hand up, so when I see it in the thing, I'll know where to cut it out, and then I can just redo that sentence, and it'll sound like, wow, this guy never messes up. It's just so amazing. But so basically what I'll do is, where are you guys at, and what questions do you have? We'll try to walk you guys through it. You can go as big or as small. We released 2 videos on YouTube that you can watch. One of them showing how we have our system set up at church. The other one just like showing how you can just Facebook Live from a cell phone. So where are you guys at, and where would you like to go, and how can I help you get there?
What kind of interface are you using?
So we use, for our online stream, we use, the interface we use is called Streamlabs OBS. Okay. It's the easiest one. People use it for video games. Like if you ever watch those gamers, they're playing like a video game and then they project their screen and they're talking through it at the same time. It's free, 100% free, super, super, super easy to use. And there's a million YouTube videos on, how do I save it? How do I record? You can just literally Google, how do I, and then find really easy ways to do that. And you can actually use that to download. So instead of going live with it, you can also save it as a video, and then just save it on your desktop and edit the video however you want.
What we're doing is, we've been doing a full worship team up to this point, is I created a document asking our worship leaders to record a song, individual songs, worship songs at home. So I created a document just to create guidelines around how they'll do it. So all the videos kind of look similar, etc. I'd be willing to share the document with anyone who would like it. The beauty of this is, and then we will take those individual songs and we'll put them together into a worship service as they fit. And so we're kind of doing like a mashup video of different people leading different songs. That way everybody knows we're keeping our social distance. We're doing our best to lead the way in this, instead of feeling pharisaical and finding a way around the rules. And so we're trying to really lead the way in this. So that's what we've been doing. Actually, the other thing that's cool is that we have 4 or 5 people that can do this. So we have some material to pull from, but I actually reached out to other people that don't even attend our church, that I know are from Halifax or Ontario, and said, hey, listen, could you do this? And if they agreed, I just sent them the document, and then they gave it to us. They all did an amazing job. It's our style. It's, it's meaning it's people they like in songs that they like. And so, and then I'm just going to record the sermon. We're going to put it all together, and it's just we're going to present it kind of like an Acadian kind of kitchen party mashup type of worship service. And it's a little bit less work that way because we're receiving almost finished files from people. So yeah.
So the people at home that are shooting these videos,
yep.
What are they shooting it on? What are they using?
Just with their iPhone. We gave them a couple hints of how to deaden the sound. I learned something from Jon about pillows around the around the camera. So anyone who's in a big room.
Talk to us about pillows.
So yeah,
So-
this is kind of an interesting. We were having anytime we record, we would use just an SLR camera. It's just like a normal. Actually, I have it right here. We record a lot of our videos with it's like a digital SLR, but you can use an iPhone too. But the same problem ends up happening. You get a lot of room resonance, especially if you're speaking. It can become almost echoey and annoying. So if I'm in Carmen's office and we're doing with him, I grab 2 couch cushions and I put them behind the camera, and I put one on the top and I sit the camera in it. And it's like a super easy isolation box that mutes out all of the other acoustics from the room except for what's coming directly in. So I just kind of put the 2 pin this way like a triangle, one on the top, and you sit your camera in there, and it surprisingly works.
We did our first streaming service this past Sunday, and I just used my iPhone. I put it on a tripod of a camera and just did the service. And of course, with me, I can do the music anyway.
Can I fire a question in? Am I on? All right,
Yep.
thanks. So we abandoned the worship team thing right away because most of the folks were uncomfortable getting together. So I've done the same with just the guitar. I haven't had a record deal offer yet, but I'm checking my email pretty regularly. So
Yeah, for sure you are.
I ran into this problem. This was week 1 for us this past Sunday. I uploaded an edited version of what I had to OneStream. I think Troy mentioned that last week.
Oh boy.
Then Facebook Live glitched me out with a copyright thing, assuming because I was singing a cover song, right? So does anyone have a fix for that?
Yeah, just use YouTube is the easiest thing we've come across, because we pay a licensing fee to use these songs and to project them and share them with our congregation. So YouTube will recognize that. So if you go, we just do primarily to YouTube, and then we share the link on Facebook, and that bypasses Facebook's strict.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
So that streaming site you just mentioned, you're saying you guys will do that. Is that not the same thing as OneStream? That'll just fire it over to Facebook and produce it live?
Yeah, so like if you look at our links, we'll do our YouTube Live is where it primarily goes. And as soon as we start, I have somebody share, or I share that link right on our Facebook page. So somebody's really, even though they're watching it on Facebook, when you click it, you're actually watching it on YouTube. It reroutes you to YouTube, and that bypasses Facebook's militant views on copyrights.
So why do you need that sub op thing, whatever that, what did you say? Streamlabs.
Oh, the
What's that doing
Streamlabs
for you?
ops,
If you
for us, that just helps as an interface. It takes all of our video feed, all of our audio feed, and it mixes it all together into one thing. If you're just using a phone, you could literally just go YouTube Live and have your phone set up there, and then just take the link from that video and share it on Facebook.
Right. And in YouTube, you can schedule it, which is what I did. I had that set up as a backup in case the Facebook Live thing didn't work. So I was thankful that I at least had that, and I could still share the links and everybody found it. So
It's the getting the if you're focusing on YouTube, is it just a matter of copying that link to Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically when you go YouTube Live or you preload, I would actually suggest for people to start preloading the video. I had friends all through Ontario that were trying to do YouTube Live, and by the time it hits there, it's just their servers or whatever is just bogging out with hundreds of churches. So I would start suggesting people to try to get stuff up Saturday, and just to try to get up as quick as you can. But you'll get a link, it's just your URL at the top, and you can share that onto Facebook. And then as soon as people click it, it takes them to YouTube through Facebook. But it ultimately puts all the traffic on YouTube. But yeah.
Can you do it the other way around?
You mean like go from like post it on Facebook and then no.
One thing I found out by default is that when you register a new YouTube channel,
Yes.
it will take 24 hours before it actually can be active.
Got
And
me
you
too.
can't use it on a phone unless you have 1,000 subscribers, unless there's another workaround with that.
John, when you were talking about uploading it on Saturday,
Yeah.
are you able then like to, I guess, hide it and then go live with it on Sunday? Is that
Yeah,
how you would do it?
you can upload it and you can put in the settings. You can in there. It's very easy. You just put privacy settings. You can put not public. You put it private, and then Sunday morning you can go in and click it to public, and then it's live. And then you can take the link and share it wherever. You could have things like there's ways around it. You can have that link shared in an email, and you can have the email scheduled to go to your entire congregation
Right.
a half hour before the service on Sunday morning if you want. Or you can have it, even you can post on your Facebook page. You can post a scheduled post to post it so that it comes on, shows up Sunday morning. If your service is at 10, it shows up at 9:45 or whatever.
Tim Slum, you can comment on it. I think he's just using YouTube Live. So he does a live show from his office through YouTube Live, which worked really well because he didn't have a band with him.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. It was just a message and a few chatted about a few things. But that's right. It was through a webcam here in the office, right here where you're seeing me now. That's all I did.
Question regarding it for visuals, like pictures, maps, that sort of thing that you want to embed into the video. Can that be done live, or does that have to be post?
It can be. That's where you would need, if you're going live, there's a couple ways to do it. That's where you would need a program like Streamlab OBS or just regular OBS, because what that does is it basically can take multiple feeds into that computer that's recording it. So it's almost like an interface, so then you can have it set up so that somebody needs to be there controlling it, but there's a camera that's on the pastor preaching. And then if you have a PowerPoint that you want to do, you have a signal coming from the PowerPoint computer in, and you have somebody switch over, and it switches over to that page while you're doing it. There's a lot of more in-depth things that you can do where you can do picture-in-picture. So you can have a corner of your screen, but it's essentially, it's like it's switching from that to a setting where it's pre-programmed to be your picture of you, your video, and then you have it set so that that corner video is on the side. The easiest, honestly, if you want to really get into sharing your PowerPoint and all of that, is just pre-record it and edit all that stuff in. Use a program like iMovie, or there's video editing for Mac, and then it'll look the most polished because it's very hard to coordinate that live. And we even have Sundays we try to do the lyrics and stuff, and something messes up in the connection, and it's, yeah, it can be problematic if you don't have somebody who really knows what they're doing there.
Yeah.
Can you still hear audio? Can you when those are being posted?
Yes.
Yeah. But you can again save that in the settings. So if we have like our pre-service is essentially a video feed of the desktop downstairs. That's our projector. That is set so that the audio mics in the room are muted during the pre-service. So we kind of save that like a scene. And then, but then when Carmen's message is on, there's a third scene we have where that's sharing it, but keeping his audio going. It can become very complicated to try to do that live without really knowing the tech and having somebody who knows it.
I got a question for John, if that's okay. I had some friends that used OBS just in their office, whatever. They could put up videos, PowerPoint, whatever. So they had all that figured out. But what they didn't realize is that when a video was playing as example, that they could still be heard talking in behind, telling their kids to be quiet or whatever the story may be. Is there a way to mute that in OBS? Or
Absolutely.
If it's live, it's live?
Yeah, there is. You have to go into that scene, and in that scene, when you switch over to the video, you have to pick where your audio source is coming from. So for that scene, it could be set to mute all the mics. And like if we're doing, we do like a little recap of our missions trip that we show once in a while, or a general evangel video. So when that is playing, that scene is saved to take the audio from the computer up, and it kills all the other audio. Because it can be embarrassing if you're up there trying to get stuff pre-service set up and talking, right?
What is the link to some of the YouTube that you've done to bring help in this?
So you can just, if you go on YouTube and you search Evangel Dartmouth,
okay,
they'll be in the last half dozen videos we've done. If you just search under videos, our worship guy, Aaron, is the one who's kind of the face of that, and he's sharing a little bit about that.
Yep.
And you do see, if you're interested in the OBS, the OBS live streaming, video editing and stuff, we have a bit longer of a video showing that as well.
If anybody is looking for individual songs from people, like I talked about in the format I mentioned, we'd be happy to send any songs that we would have if you're looking to put together a video.
We've been kind of cheating it a little bit too. Our midweeks, I have Aaron, the same guy that's on that video, him and his wife are going to do a couple of songs and just record them and Dropbox them to me. So we have a little bit for the church to see faces that are familiar. Through our midweek, we're going to have them do kind of a few songs from their home, and we're incorporating those. But up till now, on that same YouTube channel, we have our midweeks. I've been just downloading a song that's been either on my heart or on the person that I was chatting with's heart. And I just download the audio from that. You just find a way, Google YouTube to MP3, download that. And then I've been adding my own lyrics over it and making a bit of a lyric video at the end, just to kind of wrap up the thought for the midweek. But again, yeah, if you have, if people want to borrow some of your songs, if they want to borrow some of our guys and the music we have, we can set that up, maybe an accessible Dropbox folder that everyone can kind of pull from. And, just a couple of real quick, super quick things. Warm light. So light that's on people's faces, you want to have it like a more yellowy warm light, not a fluorescent light. It looks a little harsh. So we try to, even our stage lighting, even though we have a lot of color in the back of our stage, the lights that come down on people's faces are a warm light. So you definitely want a light behind the camera shining forward. You want to have the camera positioned at a good height. Basically, you want it eye level so that when you're talking, you're looking into the camera. It's a bit hard for me because my Mac, the camera's kind of up top, but you want to have it at your eye height and try to make as much eye contact as you can. I know it can be hard, especially for reading notes and trying to do that, but I've seen somebody put a picture of people above the camera so that they actually are reminded to keep looking at the camera. So you want to try to do that. So the 3 suggestions: light behind the camera, some kind of sound insulation wrapping around the camera, cushions, panels, whatever, and then have it at a good height. Position yourself a good distance. Try to get into the center of the screen and look at the camera. Have the light coming from behind the camera forward. And try to pick a backdrop that is not like, this is my bedroom. I don't really have any options here, but try to pick a backdrop that is kind of, if it's at your church, then maybe that's the best because that may be more familiar for people and a bit more soothing. Other than that, try to pick something that's a little bit more, less cluttered than Tanya's decorations here. I can kind of take people through if they want to see kind of what we've kind of done, a few of the things that we've done. I think I'm able to share my screen here, aren't I?
Yep.
It's Mark here.
Yeah.
I've got a question about Streamlab. I think
Yep.
that's the name of the software.
Yeah.
Do you use that to stream rate? Is it immediate streaming your service online?
Yeah, so there's settings in there so you can have your Streamlabs either recording. So we could set it up so that it's just an interface to record with, having the camera plugged into the computer and just recording with it. So you can do that, but it's also designed to, when you put your YouTube channel in it, that when you start, you can go live, and then it takes it and puts it onto YouTube. Essentially, all Streamlabs is if you want to add bells and whistles to your YouTube stream, like if you want to have our audio comes up from a soundboard, all of the mix goes into almost like it's a monitor, and we remix all the instruments to go into there. We need an interface. If you're planning on doing like a guitar and you singing, and then, maybe somebody coming up taking and doing some announcements, and then you going into your message, if that's about the level you're at, you don't really need all of the other stuff. that Streamlabs offers, and because it is fairly complicated. I would suggest in the video we kind of shared a couple of ideas to help if you want to use your cell phone. Again, ISO box, couple of cushions from a couch, a good light behind, good angle, and there's microphones you can buy at like Long and McQuaid, and you can order them on Amazon. They're like 30 or 40 bucks, and they plug right into your cell phone. They make a big difference in the ability to record, and if you have those components, you can do pretty much as well as you can using Streamlabs. If you're still thinking, I want to go full band and I want to do all the production, then you need Streamlabs, but you need somebody who knows how to run it.
So some of these programs, whether it be Streamlab or whatever, you pretty well have to have a camera, camcorder or something. You can't really use a cell phone for any of that.
Yeah, you would need a camera. Something with a line out like an HDMI or video, and then from there it gets really complicated. Our video walks through it. You need we use one called Blackmagic. It's an audio video interface. It ties those two things together, sends them to the computer. It gets really, really complicated very fast.
I actually looked into the possibility of using there's Wirecast, and there's other things. There's a little interface that actually can go from your mixer to your cell phone too, and I've looked at some of those.
Yeah.
But maybe the microphone deal that you're suggesting, what is the make of those, you know?
I shared on that video. I actually pulled the link from right from Long and McQuaid's. There's like a SKU number, item number. I think I popped 3 of those different ones on that video on YouTube on our channel. Okay. And they're in the price range of like less than 50 bucks.
Wow.
And I know we're probably going to be even though we have all that infrastructure, we're likely going to get to the point where we're not able to meet at the church anymore, even for a few of us. So we're going to be going a route like that and just having a microphone run through a cell phone, record, Dropbox, and done that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie just shared that hers is a Rode compact microphone from Amazon. Rode is a good brand. It costs a little bit more, but it is a really good microphone.
Hey, can I ask a quick question, John?
Yeah.
Yep. Is Church Online, is that just another streaming service? I know a couple churches using that, so
yeah,
I poked on there, but I didn't see a big lot.
Yeah, it's another streaming service. The only problem is a lot of those services now are just way overloaded. Like the biggest streaming service out there is YouTube. Like that's the worldwide largest, most stable one, and they were crashing through Quebec and Ontario with just churches, 100 going live, just outside of the norm. So I mean, people can try that and maybe it works, but I personally, I'm personally, for us, a little bit leery to get into something like that. 1, usually it costs something. 2, I just think those things are going to get overloaded.
Okay.
That's what we experienced. It worked great the first week, and the second week we crashed halfway through.
Oh, wow.
I kind of look at it as well. Part of our thing is, I'm not sure how those are set up, because I think they set up in that you could share them places, but also even from an evangelistic point of view, I want our message to not go to a bunch of people who are looking for churches. I'd love for people to stumble across this when they're searching something else. They're looking, Google Hope on YouTube, and all of a sudden a message that we preached 6 years ago on Hope pops in somebody's newsfeed and it makes a difference. Yeah. That type of thing. So I think YouTube is the best option in my opinion anyway, but people can try other routes for sure.
One app that we're looking into, and this is just an app that will allow you to, this is a little more complicated, but it would allow you to have 2 or 3 iPhones, and you could switch camera angles or switch from one person to another person. It's called Switcher Studio. I tried to post the link in the chat, but it won't let me. It's an app. It's a subscription. You can overlay words. You can play live video through it. You can do a whole bunch of things, and it's just run off an app.
The other thing I would kind of maybe lean people towards, if you want to add a little bit, if you're adding worship into your live stream, and maybe you only have 2 musicians, we use my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. I have to Google it here to find the. We use multi-tracks. There we go. It seems a little bit crazy because it's about $30 a song. But what that does is that gives you every, I don't know, 13, 14,000 songs. It gives you every track for each song. So let's say it's you with a guitar and your wife's playing piano, and you'd like to have maybe not a full band. Maybe you want to have a little bit of percussion and maybe the second guitar and then some backup vocals. You can just literally download the track in the key you want. And we use GarageBand. There's a bunch of different things you can use, but we just put it in there. And I just take out things like the click track, take out things like those things, and just, you can custom make it so that it fits what you're trying to show. So it would feel weird to have an 18 instrument accompaniment if you're standing up there with a guitar, but you could pull maybe a bass and add a little bit of bass maybe, and you can control the amount you want of each instrument, just so it doesn't feel like it's fake, but then it also doesn't feel like one guy standing with a guitar. And that's through, we use that, and we use it for a lot of our tracks, even with the full band, if we wanted a specific string in the background or pad or whatever. And we use multitracks.com for a lot of that stuff.
You say it's $30 a song?
It works out to be about $30 a song.
Just the one that I messaged, it's $4 a song. It's certainly not as advanced to all of what John's talking about, but
if it works for you, man, go for it, right?
yeah, it's great for small church stuff. I mean, lots of small churches use it even in their live if they don't have anyone musically. But you got a gifted singer, they can sing along with it. You can drop the lyrics out, or you can leave the lyrics all in, someone singing. If you just don't even have that, play the thing just as it is for $4. They're authorizing all of their stuff to be used in all streaming capacities right now. So,
and a lot of these companies are waiving whatever to let people use stuff right now too.
What's that called?
What's that called, Daryl?
That's called I Sing Worship.
And these are tools that might maybe not be used every week, but just thinking of bigger events or Easter Sunday and things like that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
The other thing that we started using before we were so rudely interrupted was you can actually plug an iPhone into your sound system, and you can just pick, if your song's in A, you just hit the A button and it just plays soft filler pads behind, and then you just play a song over it. So it just gives you some background. And so
yeah, there's you could go on YouTube and Google worship. Here, I'll share you my screen for a second here. I don't know if this is how we do that. You guys see my screen right now?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. So if I go to YouTube, and I go, worship pad, key of D. There's a 10-minute D major worship pad. And you can just, there's a ton of different programs. You Google, download YouTube to MP3, and then you just basically can get this video, pull it in, and it'll add after we're done with the commercial. It could add a soft pad kind of behind. So if you're doing a song with a guitar or whatever, you can kind of have that. And most of them are pretty ambient pads. Most of our videos we do, even when we're doing a message or whatever, I'll add a few pads or instrumental music behind it. So it adds a little bit of atmosphere. I can kind of walk you guys through just the YouTube interface just to show you real quick how to upload to YouTube. It's pretty simple.
I think if you could show them, John, because I just learned this myself, how to put just pick any video and set it up as a premiere, as it would play live.
Okay, so to set up live, sorry, give me a second here. All right, so this is our YouTube channel here. So we have all of our most recent, this is our week 3 midweek connection. That's this past Sunday. That's our live stream setup one, our basic setup, talking about cell phones. That's our Sunday night small group discussion, last week's midweek connection. So it's kind of our videos. If you go up to your YouTube studio in the corner, that takes you into your YouTube studio. So you can kind of, all your stuff's here. Up in this corner is your create button where you can upload. If I click to upload, it's gonna basically be like, here's your file to upload. So I'll just take, oh, where's last week's midweek connection right here. Click and drag it in. And that kind of just gives you the option to go through. It'll upload that video. You want to make sure that it's not, you click not made for kids, just because that puts a bunch of restrictions and weird things on there. And then basically you just kind of go through to next. Let's see if I can find. And the big thing here is right here is where you can schedule it. So you click schedule and you can set the time that you want it to go. And it'll be private before you publish it. And so it'll be on there, but it's going to be private until you go live with it. So it'll be released at, right now, 12 a.m. March 26th. The video will be private before publishing, and you can set it as a premiere.
Premiere means that it's going to be pushed live as if it's live, but it's a pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So it's going to look live. People will be able to interact with it live.
Yeah.
Hey, John, Mark here. You were using there a pre-recorded video. How would I go live onto YouTube and just go like that on Sunday morning, like I did with Facebook live stream?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so if that's the case, then you go into, you'd have to have your camera set up. I'll pull you my screen over here again, just so you can see. So you're basically logged into your YouTube channel. There we go. So I'll go back one so you can get to our, so you're on your YouTube channel. So this would be your church stuff all here. And you go up to the corner to create a video or post. And the second one down is go live. So if I click that right now, it would take me to set up my camera right here. And the microphone, which I'm speaking through right now, and it would take you through the steps to go live. Once you go in there to go live, I think it's, click it here.
But you have to have 1,000 subscribers to make that happen, right?
We have 202 and we can go live.
Okay.
I think if you're using a PC, yeah, I don't think you need
There's
that.
no limit with a PC. You can go live with 0 subscribers if you go through PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, and then once you get to here, you just want to make sure that you go new stream, because you don't want to, and then you'd put your information in there. You want it public. You can add your title. You can even do a thumbnail if you want your church logo to be the thing that shows up on there. And then you just create stream, and then you go down here and click stream now. And then on the top, webcam, so it's going to pick what camera you're using.
Can you do that with a iPhone?
I think with the iPhone, you need to have the subscribers. I think that's the issue.
Okay.
Apologies if this has been covered already, but there is a way on OBS to use your iPhone as a web camera, but you do have to download a plugin.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Cool.
Just for those who want to get around that 1,000 subscription thing for YouTube, you can use OBS and your iPhone, but it just requires just an extra plugin.
Yeah. Again, in most situations, I think where we're at, I would, even though OBS is an option there, I would just bypass it and go microphone, audio interface, webcam, use your computer, and go directly to YouTube. Just make sure there's things you have to make sure your microphone's not crazy loud and it's garbled or all of that. But I would recommend, if you do it, do a couple of test runs beforehand and make sure everything sounds good, looks good. All those test runs, you can run them private so nobody sees them, and you can listen to them yourself. Yeah. So I guess the two options are either go live or not to go live. It does take a bit of the edge off for preaching if you're not going live and you're going to pre-record it and edit it and all of that. But if you're wanting to go live, then by all means, jump on board. Listen, I appreciate everybody on this call because I'm by no means an expert on this. Like even with the OBS stuff, I'm up there, it's set up, I press the button. But I figured, I can help however I can. And I think that it's really cool that we're all on here finding a creative way to do church. And, maybe it would have been in our interest that we started doing this about 2 years ago. But God has us in the season for a reason. And there's the reality is, man, like we look at our Sunday messages, we're getting 500 or 600 views on some of our Sunday messages, which is, some people may be rewatching, but it's definitely more than what we have on a Sunday by a huge margin. So the gospel message is getting out there. And I know Jim's been Mr. Positive through all of this, sharing a lot of encouragement on what pastors are doing. But truthfully, it's amazing to see that we're kind of shifting. And I'm hoping that once this season passes, that a lot of this stuff sticks, and we can continue to use this as a resource for sharing the gospel.